Hello, listeners. This is Akashvani Shillong. We welcome you to our program, The Science Magazine. In our program, listeners, we try to make ourselves aware of all the recent happenings in the world of science. So, in this edition of our Science Magazine, we bring to you an excerpt from a seminar on sustainable development and youth organized by Akashvani Shillong in collaboration with Myngken Christian Higher Secondary School, Bhoi district, and a talk on what can be done to minimize the depletion of ozone layer. Let's begin our program by listening to a presentation on sustainable agriculture by Dr. Myngken, Aspirational Block Fellow, Umling CNRD Block.
In India, out of 100%, 58% of the population of the workforce in India still depend on agriculture for their livelihood. Okay, and among the sectors in India, I think you know most of the sector, like service sector and industry sector. And then agriculture contributed, 17.7% to the Indian GDP. And you know what is GDP? That is the gross domestic product. And I think you might not know this. The geographical area of our country is approximately 329 million hectare. But the cross-cropped area is approximately 219 million hectare. And of this 219 million hectare, you know what is the net soon area? It is only 141 million hectare. I think as of today, the population of India is 1.4 billion. Okay, and main responsible agriculture is to feed this 1.4 million people in order to ensuring food security. And main problem in India to sustain this food security is that most of the farmer in our country, mostly they have small and fragmented land holding. When I say small and fragmented land holding, what does it mean? It means that most of the farmer in our country, they have small land holding which is below 2 hectares. Especially in Meghalaya, if you look, most of the farmer, they are subsistence farmer. Mostly they grow, they cultivate only for their own consumption, except for the horticulture product where they grow and cultivate for selling in the market. Even though the farmer have small holding, but still India is known as a global leader in the production of crops like rice, wheat, pulses, spice, and many of the horticulture crop as well. So if you look at this, okay, there is a study conducted during 2018-19, conducted by this NSS, the National Sample Survey from the Ministry of Statistics and the Program Implementation, Government of India. They have conducted a study where they show that overall the monthly income of the farmer is 10,000. But if you look at this map, among the Indian states, okay, if you look at Meghalaya, the farmer of Meghalaya get more monthly income. It's almost 30,000 per month. But we cannot fully say that this is a true figure because the study was conducted for a small sample size only. It's not like fully considered throughout the country. So if you look at this study, we find that the farmer of Meghalaya are very rich. And Sir Ibor already mentioned about this Sustainable Development Goal. But this Sustainable Development Goal, which was accepted, which was taken up by all the UN states, they have accepted to call for action for the Sustainable Development Goal by 2030. As Sir already briefed you all the 17 development goals, right? So I'd like to show you here also. These are the 17 Sustainable Development Goals that all the member states of the UN nation, they are all agreed to call for action on these goals. So I'd like to request to all of you also, young students, since you are class 11, 12, you can go to the website. I think all of you have mobile phone. You can go to the website of the United Nations. One website is there. And if you want to know more detail about this 17 development goals, actually, you can go there. Actually, it is very important for you to know all these goals also, actually. So why I bring this into this picture? Because over several decades, several years, eliminating this hunger and poverty is the main global agenda of all the countries. There are many initiatives also have taken out how to eliminate this hunger, how to eliminate this poverty. For example, there is one initiative, the Global Partnership and Funding Initiative, the World Health Organization Food Program. These are some of the initiatives, but the recent initiative that was taken up is this Sustainable Development Goal, SDGs, which they come up with 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Why I brought this Sustainable Development Goal in my presentation? Because if you look at agriculture is one of the most important sector. To achieve this Sustainable Development Goal, directly or indirectly, agriculture are involving in it. If you look at this zero hunger, what zero hunger means? You need food, you need agriculture. If you look at good health and well-being, you need nutritious food. And if you look at this clean water and sanitation also, because if you look at agriculture, we use many chemicals, fertilizers. This will pollute the water and this will degrade the soil. So that's why agriculture is very important and is an integral part of all these 17 Sustainable Development Goals. So not only this, how this concept of sustainable agriculture come into the picture, especially in India. I will brief you a little bit about this. After independence, and before that also actually, what happened to India? We got independence in 1947, and after the independence, India faced a severe food crisis. Why this happened? Because during the British era, before the independence, they mostly focused on this commercial crop, mostly cotton, jute, or this indigo. They mostly focused on this crop, and they left behind most of the important crops that need to ensure food security for the country. Because of that practice during the British era, that led to the food crisis in India, especially during the 1943. There was a Bengal famine. Millions of people died because of the food shortage and because of the food scarcity. The main problem for this food shortage is due to the fragmented land holding, as already mentioned you. Most of the farmers in our country, they have less land holding. Around 86% of them, they have only 2 hectares of land. And because of the traditional practice, they don't follow a scientific method of cultivation of crop, and then they have this low productivity of the crops. And also, there is a rapid population in India, as you all know. India is the second most populous country after China. And then our agriculture mostly is a monsoon dependent. And also, during that time, we have not used the modern inputs like the high yielding varieties of seeds and all. In order to address this food security crisis, and since 1960s, the government ensured to modernize the Indian agriculture. And under the leadership of one famous agriculturist in India, his name is M.S. Swaminathan. He led this revolution, that is the Green Revolution era. This revolution started from the late 1960s. And with the support of the government, under the leadership of M.S. Swaminathan and many more scientists, they have introduced HYV, high yielding variety in India, especially wheat and rice. Initially, what happened, this Green Revolution mostly focused on wheat and rice, and they mostly concentrated in the state of Punjab, Haryana, and Uttar Pradesh. And then during the time, in order to enhance the productivity, there's use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides. And also the use of this improved irrigation, excessive use of the groundwater also was taking place during the time of Green Revolution. And the use of the modern mechanization like tractors, harvesters, mostly they use it during the Green Revolution time. By the 1970s, what happened? India, they are free from this food scarcity. India became a surplus country in the world. Besides this benefit the Green Revolution giving to India, there's also a challenges. And by the end of the 1980s, there is a realization, the need for the sustainable agriculture. Why? Because due to the overuse of the chemical fertilizers, overuse of pesticide, overuse of the groundwater table, all this lead to soil degradation, lead to soil erosion, and the depletion of the water table, and loss of biodiversity. And the government of India of that time, they tried to introduce many initiatives, many policies in order to address these challenges caused by Green Revolution. Some initiative that they have implemented at that time was the National Horticulture Mission and this integrated water management. So, seeing all these challenges from 2000s onward, there is a realization globally that there is a requirement for the sustainable agriculture throughout the world. So, why there is a need for the sustainable agriculture? Because the main objective of this sustainable agriculture is to balance the production of food with the preservation of the natural resources as well as the environment. So the main emphasis of this sustainable agriculture is reducing the use of the chemical input like chemical fertilizer. Most of our farmers are using this urea, this DAP, and also this emphasis on promoting organic farming and then encouraging the use of crop rotation and then mixed farming. And also they emphasize on the use of improved water management like rainwater harvesting and the adoption of the agroforestry and the integrated farming system. Not only these are the factors that lead to the emergence of the sustainable agriculture in India. Now the whole world is concerned about the climate change and also the declining cultivable land and the high production costs. These are some of the factors that lead to the emergence of the sustainable agriculture. The main objective of this sustainable agriculture is a holistic approach to farming. When I say holistic approach, what does it mean? It means integrating the ecological, social and economic aspect for sustainable practice. And also the main focus is to meet the need of the present generation, as the past resource person already says about, to meet the need of the present generation without compromising the need of our future generation. And also to address the food security and to promote environmental health and to ensure economic viability. Why I say economic viability? Through sustainability agriculture, what happens is that there's an efficient use of the agriculture resources, efficient use of the agriculture input, and through this, the farmer can save some money and can make more profit from this sustainable agriculture. And through this practice of sustainable agriculture, they'll be able to identify some of the key challenges, for example, like the climate change and the resource depletion, and also to identify what opportunity to explore the innovative practice what can we do in order to improve the production through the sustainable agriculture. These are some of the key major challenges in sustainable agriculture. As I already told you, because of the overuse of the groundwater table, there is a water scarcity. Maybe in our state, maybe you have not seen the water scarcity till date. But if you go to the other part of the country like Maharashtra, Bihar, you will see that people are fighting to get water also, even for drinking water. But in our state, we are lucky enough that we are blessed with this monsoon that we don't have water scarcity yet. So it is very important also to keep that in mind. And one major challenge is water scarcity, and also one of the major challenges is the climate change. Now the whole world is talking about climate change. Climate now changed drastically. Even sometimes you cannot predict what will happen. And in Meghalaya, we used to say that we have 4 seasons even in a day also. And as I told you, because of the overuse of the chemical during the Green Revolution, this leads to the soil degradation. And then the policy management issue. Why I say the policy management issue is that the policy that was implemented is not that very strong. These are some of the major challenges to attain the sustainable agriculture. So how we can address some of these challenges? One of the challenges, I say water scarcity, we can address this through water management strategies. What are those strategies? Like drip irrigation practice. Drip irrigation means we give water directly to the root of the plant. Okay? And then another strategy is rainwater harvesting. And one more is soil moisture retention technique. This can be used by using organic mulch to retain the soil moisture in order to enhance the crop productivity. Another technique we can use, like I said, soil degradation, we can use soil health improve technique. We can use the crop rotation and then conservation tillage and this organic farming. Nowadays, we are living in a world of technology. Then it is very important to take the role of technology also in agriculture. So precision farming. How this precision farming is done? This precision farming, these are farming practices where we use the exact information through the use of the technology like the IoT, the Internet of Things. We use this technology in order to provide us the information. I know in Meghalaya we have not used this kind of technology yet, but in some part of the country they start using this technology where this Internet of Things, they put some kind of sensor in the soil, and through this sensor, they can send a message directly to the farmer. Through mobile app, they can send a message like what type of nutrition or what type of deficiency, what is the requirement of the plant, when to give water, when to apply organic fertilizers. Through this technology and through this precision farming, we can use, and this will also improve, enhance the adoption of the sustainable agriculture. And as we all talk about the mobile app, and you all know also like most of our farmers now, they have mobile phone, and most of them also I think they have the smartphone. So through this mobile app, because now there is a mobile app named as Plantic, okay? When they just scan at the plant, and that mobile app will tell what kind of disease the plant have or what type of deficiency it have. This is the new technology that nowadays is using in agriculture. And also the biotechnology. The biotechnologies play a very important role in agriculture because through biotechnology can adopt new varieties which have resistance against insect pests, which have resistance against the drought, against the lodging and all. This biotechnology also play a very important role in agriculture. So in order to support the sustainability agriculture, especially in India, I think there is a need for this policy. Like there is a need to support like this subsidy and incentive. Through this subsidy and incentive by providing financial support to the farmer, this will enhance or encourage the farmers to adopt the sustainable agriculture because most of the farmers, mostly they prefer to go for conventional farming. Why conventional farming? Because it gives them more production, it gives them more productivity, and this sustainable agriculture used to take time. So it is important from the policy perspective that the government should give financial support and incentive in order to encourage the farmer to adopt a sustainable agriculture. To the farmer, maybe this concept of sustainable agriculture is very new. So it is very important also to give education to the farmer. What is this technique about? How can it be done? Okay, and we need research and development. In our state where we are lagging behind and in our country as a whole, because in some area we are still not focusing on the research and development. Actually, it is very important. If you look at a country like Israel, they are a small country, but they are very powerful. Why? Because they invest more on research and development. And that's why they have more technology with them. Even for example, the drip irrigation system also, it was started from Israel only. And in the research also, in the ground level, we need to involve the farmer in research so that the farmer will understand what study and what need to be done, including their traditional knowledge. Along with the traditional knowledge and with the scientific knowledge, we can improve or we can enhance or we can promote or we can encourage the farmer to adopt this sustainable agriculture. And also like nowadays, as we say about this cooperative and all, like community engagement and farmer participation also is very important Because through the farmer cooperative collaborating to share the resource and knowledge, enhance productivity and innovation. And also through the participatory research, like I already mentioned earlier, now we need to involve the farmer also in a research program. And also we need to promote a local market for local produce that help to reduce the carbon footprint. Someone was asking about the carbon footprint. Mostly the carbon footprint is the greenhouse gases that is emitted due to the human activities. These are the carbon footprint. So through the local market, to promote the local production, we can reduce the carbon footprint also. Because through the local market, we can reduce the transportation, because transportation will emit emission from the vehicles, so that can be reduced. And in sustainable agriculture, there are three main strategies that need to be taken into consideration. One is the reduction of the chemical input. We're not saying that in sustainable agriculture, we have to get rid of the chemical, but reduction the use of the chemical input and the integrated management practices like INM, like the integrated nutrient management and the integrated pest management. And also we need to take into consideration the agroecological practices. That means by implementing of this crop rotation. You know what happens most of the time, when we grow the same crop on the same plot of land, mostly it invites pest infestation. But through this crop rotation, what happens? For example, like now we grow maize. After maize, we grow cowpea or that French bean. This French bean actually is very good for the fertility of the soil, to enhance the nutrient of the soil also. So like taking the consideration of agroecological practice, like implementing crop rotation, organic farming, and this method will boost the biodiversity and the ecological resilience. And these are some of the initiatives that the government have taken in order to support the sustainability agriculture in the country. One is that the National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture. This mission was started in 2014 and is mostly focused on improving the soil health and water conservation and climate resilient farming system. And another program is Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana, which was launched in 2015. And this program mostly focuses on the organic farming to enhance or to encourage the farmer to adopt organic farming in the country. And we have this soil health card scheme. Most of you might know what is soil health card. I think some of your parents who are farmers, I think they have this card also. In this card, mostly they have the status of the soil, what is the nutrient content of the soil. And then we have also the Pradhan Mantri Singsha Yojana. This scheme mostly focuses on the water use efficiency. And we have one scheme which is specifically focusing on the organic farming, that is the National Project on Organic Farming. These are some of the schemes that the government have taken in order to support, to promote this sustainable agriculture. One of the best examples I keep here is Sikkim. I think you know that Sikkim is considered as one of the first Indian states to be considered as a full-fledged organic state in the country. Actually, the story of Sikkim, how does it become the full-fledged organic state in the country? You know, in 2003, actually, the Sikkim government, they have passed a resolution of organic state. But how they achieve and how they maintain their determination, their government determination to make the state fully organic is through their policies actually, They have implemented strict organic farming policies. In 2003, they have passed a resolution about the organic farming in the state. And in 2004, they lay a roadmap. And from 2004 onward, they started reducing this subsidy. The subsidy for this fertilizer, they reduced it by 10%. But from 2007 onward, there is zero subsidy given to the fertilizers. This is how it makes the fertilizer more expensive. And the farmers, they cannot pay for high price for the fertilizers. The Sikkim government also, they have given a full training or capacity building to the farmers of the state in order to ensure that they are able to adopt these practices of organic farming. Organic farming where they didn't use any chemical for their farming. As I already said, extensive training was given to the farmers. And they have also set a market linkage for their farmers so that they can support the farmer, especially during a distress sale. And from Sikkim, many of the states also have taken up that example of organic state, and now many states in India and the government of India actually have implemented the program which is mostly focused on the organic farming. So what will be the future trend in sustainable agriculture? With the modern technology, we are living in a modern world. It is very important in order to achieve this sustainable agriculture, in order to retain it or to attain this sustainable agriculture in the future. It is very important, it is very need for the adoption of smart technologies. As Sir also mentioned earlier about the smart technologies, what I was saying regarding the use of AI, I think most of you know what is AI, artificial intelligence. This artificial intelligence not only used in robots and all, but now that robot or the intelligence, the artificial intelligence can also be used in agriculture. How? This artificial intelligence, through different technologies that they are using, they can send a message to the farmer. I already said before, like how they can send a message regarding the weather forecast. These are the things. And then the adoption of the Internet of Things and this big data. This big data is nothing but it's a large data set, a large information. And also it is very important for this to adopt the climate resilient crop. Climate resilient crop means for the development it is very important for the researchers to develop a crop that can withstand the climate change. And also, it is very important to adopt this urban agriculture. You know, most of the people in the cities, mostly they don't produce food, right? They just buy it from the market, and most of the food comes from the rural areas. So it is very important also that the people in the cities should start doing agriculture. How they can do it? Through terrace farming, they can do it, or they can do it through balcony farming or the rooftop gardening. Okay? So these are the three things that need to be adopted in order to ensure a future for sustainable agriculture, like increased adoption of smart technologies and adoption of the climate resilient crop and the adoption of this urban agriculture. So what is the potential development for the sustainable agriculture by 2030? So these are three key elements that I use here, like how the government of India can attain or can achieve sustainability by 2030 in order to attach or to be in line with that sustainable development goal by 2030. So one of that is through the enhanced policy framework. The government should adopt a very strict or stringent policy, for example, like how the Sikkim government have adopted that policy. And also, like, we need to enhance or we need to give awareness to the farmers regarding the sustainable agriculture. And also, the adoption of this technology is very important. Coming to the conclusion is that I think with this brief idea about the sustainable agriculture, I think you all accept that, the sustainable agriculture in the future will play a very important role in ensuring the prosperity of our nation. As you all know, through the adoption of sustainability, it can address the critical issue like the climate change, like the soil degradation. It can be addressed. And then the sustainable agriculture will ensure the food security, because through the adoption of this sustainability, it can reduce the overuse of the chemical, it can improve the health of the people, and as well as it will improve and it will ensure the food security for the people. And it will ensure the environmental sustainability, and as I already explained about the economic viability, it will ensure economic viability to the farmer. And also, like, it will help in achieving a sustainable agriculture that will benefit the future generation. And with all this, I come to the end of my presentation. Thank you.
That was Dr. Hetlangki Tingkan, Aspirational Block Fellow, Umling CNRD Block, an excerpt from a seminar on sustainable development and youth organized by Akashvani Shillong in collaboration with Myngken Christian Higher Secondary School, Bhoi District. Moving on, let us now listen to a talk on what can be done to minimize the depletion of ozone layer by Manbhalang Norwer.
Ozone layer is the region of the Earth's stratosphere, approximately 10 to 50 kilometers above the surface, where a relatively high concentration of ozone molecules is found. Ozone is a gas composed of 3 oxygen atoms bonded together, and it plays a crucial role in protecting life on Earth. The ozone layer acts as a shield that absorbs the majority of the sun's harmful ultraviolet radiation, particularly the most damaging type known as UVB. These UVB rays have the potential to cause various harmful effects, including skin cancer, weakened immune systems, and damaged plant life and marine ecosystems. The ozone layer's formation and maintenance depend upon the presence of a delicate balance between the production and destruction of ozone molecules. Ozone is naturally formed through the interaction of UVC radiation from the sun and oxygen molecules. The energy from UVC causes the dissociation of an oxygen molecule, producing 2 oxygen atoms. These atoms then react with other oxygen molecules to form ozone. Ozone depletion occurs when certain human man-made chemicals known as ozone-depleting substances are released into the atmosphere. The most notable ozone-depleting substances are chlorofluorocarbons, halogens, carbon tetrachloride, and methyl chloroform. Once these substances reach the stratosphere, where the ozone layer resides, they break down due to the influence of UV light. This breakdown releases chlorine and bromine atoms that are highly reactive and capable of destroying ozone molecules. The discovery of Antarctic ozone hole in the 1980s raised international concern about ozone depletion and its potential repercussions. Consequently, the international community took decisive action, resulting in the adoption of the Montreal Protocol in 1987. This global environmental agreement aimed to phase out the production and consumption of ozone-depleting substances. As a result of this successful implementation of the protocol, the ozone layer has shown signs of recovery in recent years. What can we do to minimize the depletion of ozone layer? There are several actions that we can take to minimize the depletion of ozone layer. Reduce the use of ozone-depleting substances. One of the primary causes of ozone depletion is the release of synthetic chemicals known as ozone-depleting substances such as chlorofluorocarbons, hydrochlorofluorocarbons, and halogens. These chemicals are commonly found in refrigerators, air conditioners, aerosol products, and fire extinguishers. By reducing the consumption and production of ozone-depleting substances through the use of alternative technologies and substances, we can significantly decrease ozone depletion. Adopt eco-friendly alternatives. Look at the products and technologies that are ozone-friendly. For example, select refrigerators and air conditioners that use non-ozone depleting refrigerants like hydrofluorocarbons. Avoid the use of aerosol spray that contains ozone-depleting substance and opt for pump spray instead. The Montreal Protocol on Substances that Deplete the Ozone Layer is a global agreement that aims to phase out the production and consumption of ozone-depleting substances. India has been a part of the Montreal Protocol since June 1992, and our country has been successfully implementing the Montreal Protocol projects and activities for phasing out of ozone-depleting substances. Supporting such international agreements, we can strengthen the collective effort to safeguard the ozone layer. Promote energy efficiency. Energy-efficient practices and technologies reduce the overall demand for electricity, which can indirectly lower the emissions of ozone-depleting substances. Opt for energy-efficient appliances, use energy-saving light bulbs, and adopt energy-conscious habits at home and in the workplace. Responsible disposal of ozone-depleting substance-containing products. When disposing of products that contain ozone-depleting substances such as old refrigerators or air conditioning units, make sure they are properly handled. Many localities have specific regulations for the disposal and recycling of these items to prevent the release of ozone-depleting substances into the environment. Support research and innovation. Continue research and technological advancement contribute to the development of alternative substances and technologies that are less harmful to the ozone layer. Support organizations and initiatives that focus on finding innovative solutions to ozone depletion. Reduce emissions of greenhouse gases. The emissions of greenhouse gases, particularly carbon dioxide and methane, contribute to climate change, which indirectly impacts the ozone layer. By adopting sustainable practices to reduce emissions, such as conserving energy, promoting renewable energy resources, and advocating for green transportation options, we can help mitigate the overall impact. Enforce regulations and policies. Governments plays a crucial role in implementing and enforcing regulations that limit the production, sale, and usage of ozone-depleting substances. Support policymakers and advocate for strict enforcement of international agreements and domestic laws related to ozone protection. Promote organic farming, integrated pest management, and environmentally friendly alternatives to harmful pesticides.
Well, listeners, with that, we have come to the end of our program, The Science Magazine. Until we meet again, this is Akashvani Shillong.